Hey developers, welcome back to my channel. In the last video we have completed our select part. I hope that was helpful guys. In today's lesson we are going to complete our insert part of our series. But before that I want to tell you something guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, then please hit that subscribe button so guys I can bring you new videos. So let's start coding. So today's lesson we are going to create a form with 3 fields, so we can input data in those fields and insert it into the database. So let's create that form first. For that I'll open my Sublime text. Okay, this is our index.php. To create that form we need to create one new file where we can write our code and display our form. So in the project folder, here in the project employees is our project, in the project folder we'll create a new file and we'll name it as create.php. create.php. Okay, and again you can name it whatever you want. So go to the browser and I need create.php. so there is nothing. And we have nothing to display because our file is empty. So let's write some code. So I'm going to go to index.php and copy all the code from there and paste that code in our create.php file. Alright, so here I'll save and create. Okay, alright, so we need to edit this code little bit. We need that autoload method. We'll keep that method as it is. Then we need our navigation bar also. We'll keep our navigation bar, and h4, this h4 we need to write insert, or you can write add employees, because we are going to add our employees here and we don't need this table also, so we'll delete this table. Okay, and save, and let's go to the browser and let's check. Okay, cool. So we need some form fields here. So for that I'll go to Bootstrap website. So Bootstrap documentation, and in contents, sorry, in components, forms. Okay, I'll copy this first snippet and go to our code and paste it into our file right after this h4. Okay, so let's think which fields do we need. We need field for name, city and designation. So total 3 fields we need. So I'm going to edit this snippet little bit. So here I'll write for name Here I'll write label name, and input type is text. ID, right now we don't need any ID, so I'll remove this ID. Instead of ID I'll write name. We need name because we are going to submit this form using post request, and for that we need this name attribute. So name will be name. Okay, and we need a placeholder, enter name. Okay, so next one is city. Input type is city. We don't need ID, and password and placeholder is city. We need one more field, copy paste. This is for designation. Okay, we forgot to change this to city. With designation, and type will be text. Here type will be also text. Okay, we don't need this small tag, that was for email. Okay, placeholder, designation. We don't need this checkbox also. So for city we have to give name, city, and for designation also we need name, designation. Okay, and button type submit, and text also submit. Okay, so save and go to the browser and check how it looks now. Refresh. Okay, so we have our 3 fields with a submit button. Okay, and so here I'll explain what exactly we are going to do now. Whenever user will input something, or whenever user will type any data in our form, we need to submit that data somewhere so we can process that data and store it in the database. So for that we have to mention in our form tag where we are going to submit our form and what type of request we are going to send. Okay, so in form tag, where is our form tag? Here, form open. Okay, in our form tag I'll write action is equal to, okay, right now we'll keep empty. The action attribute specifies where to send the form data when a form is submitted. In our case we need to send our data to the same page, so we don't need to specify that attribute value. In PHP, whenever you keep action attribute empty string, then that form going to submit to the same page. Is that clear? Alright, then I will write our method, and method is post, capital post. So if we are submitting the data to the same page, then we need to write some code to receive that data and process it. So again, go to the top of our page, right after auto load, we will write an if statement to check if data is submitted or not. Okay, so here we will write if is set, this is PHP's inbuilt function, is set post submit, then I'll explain guys what is happening here. So you guys might thinking, what is this $_post? So $_post, an associative array of variables passed to the current script via the HTTP post method. This is super global or automatic global variable. This simply means it is available in all scopes throughout the script. If you remember, we have given name attributes to our form fields. Here you can see name, city, and name designation. So this $_post array will contain that name attributes, keys, and value pairs. If you heard about associative array, so in our case it will be something like this. For example, I can show you here guys, okay, in comment. So for example, we have our post array, and in that post array we have keys like name and value. Suppose we typed John Doe inside that field, so value will be John Doe. The second key is city, and the value will be London, and third key destination, sorry, not destination, designation, and value will be project manager. All right, so you can see we have a post associative array. It has name, city, and designation. These are keys, and John Doe, London, and project manager, these are values. So you can see we have keys name, city, and designation. So if you want to access name field, so simply you can do post and give that key which is name, okay, and this will give the value of name which is John Doe in our case. I'll show you guys how to test this in a minute, but I hope you have the basic idea how our post array is working, $_post. So now I will write if statement. So we'll clear this out, we don't need this, this was only for example. So if submit button is clicked, I want to store all the fields data in variables. Okay, so I'll make first variable which is name, and you can write anything you want. I'll write name, and the first value from this key which is name. Okay, I'll just copy and paste 3 times. City variable will be city also. Designation, here also designation. Okay, and now we need some kind of functionality to process all the data and store into the database. So for that we will go to our employee class where we had created our select logic. If you remember, in employee class we have created our select logic here, select method. Okay, so right after that we will create our insert logic. If you want, you can have separate class files for that, but for the sake of this lesson I am going to keep all resources in one class file, which is employee.php. So I am going to create a public function insert, and this will receive one parameter which is fields. So what is fields and what is inside of the fields? Well, if you go to create.php file, we have received all our forms inputs and we need to pass those inputs to the insert method, which we will create now through the argument. Okay, if you don't understand what I am saying, no worries, I'll explain this in a minute. So first let's go to create.php and put all the form fields in an array, so that array we can pass to the method, to this method insert. Okay, so create.php. So again we have to use an associative array here. So I am going to create an associative array and name it as fields. So fields is equal to array. Okay, and as you know, we need keys and values. So I'll take key which is name and its value is our name variable, comma city, and its value is our city variable, comma designation, and its value is our variable designation. So let's go back to employee.php file. So to insert record we need to write our SQL query. So let's see how will look our SQL query. So our query will look something like this: insert into and then table name, which is employees, if you remember, then this brackets, and we'll have column name. So name, ID we don't need to put because that will auto increment, so we need only name, then city, then designation. So 3 columns, and then we need to write values. So what values we are going to insert? Again we need a bracket, closing and opening brackets, Then in PDO we need to write something like this, placeholder, we can call it placeholders. Okay, so name and city and designation. Okay, so we have to generate a query like this but dynamically. Let me write this query and I will explain this in details. So I'll take one variable which is implode columns is equal to implode, and this is a function inbuilt which will have a comma. So the next parameter we need to give array keys of fields array. Okay, is equal to implode, again this is function, and it will have a comma and a colon, then array keys of fields array. Okay, and then I'll write our query and I'll save this query in a SQL variable. I'll write insert into employees table name, then in bracket I'll pass this implode columns variable, values in bracket, I need a colon here, then a string, and I'll then I need and I'll concatenate this implode placeholder and semicolon. So guys, what is implode? Implode is the inbuilt method in PHP. So let's see what implode does. Implode join array elements with a string. For example, we have an array fruits. Okay, and this again, in this fruit we have some fruits like apple, mango, mango and orange. Okay, this is our fruits array, and we have three elements in this array. Okay, so if I do like this, implode, and I'll put comma here which is separator, and second parameter I'll give this array, so fruits. So this will create, if I will echo this will create a result something like this: apple, mango and orange. So you see this string it will create something like this. Okay, so if you will put something like this, then it will create something like this. Okay, so this is separator. So here in this example you have seen that all our array elements converted to string and separated by a comma. So this behavior we are using in our method. So in our method, what is array keys? What is this array keys? Okay, so in PHP we have one more inbuilt method called array keys, and basically this method returns all the keys of an array. So if you remember, we have our associative array called fields, and it has key, name, city and designation. It has three keys which are name, city and designation. So here we are doing nothing but taking those keys and making a string separated by comma, and this will look like this. I'll show you how it will look. This will look something like this. So guys, if this code is looking horrible and difficult, don't be afraid. Everything is very simple and very powerful. So we don't need this. It was only for example. So in PDO we need to prepare our statement. So let's call prepare method, which is one more inbuilt method in PHP. I'll take one variable stmt. You can take any variable or you can name it anything you want. So I'll prepare like this. I'll call this dot connect. If you remember, in our select logic, this is a connection, so we are calling this connection, and we need to write prepare, and you have to give that SQL query string variable inside it. So once our statement is ready, we need to bind our values, as we had kept some placeholders in the query string. If you remember, here we have some placeholders. Okay, these are placeholders. Okay, so for this we will write for each fields as key and value. Okay, okay, and in here I'll say stmt. I'll use built-in function bind value, and this will take two parameters. The first is that placeholder, which was this, and the second parameter, which is actual value. And finally we need to execute our query. So again in PHP we have one more inbuilt function, execute. So I'll write after this for each, I'll write stmt. I'll take one more variable and $stmt, execute. Okay, and here is the result of this query, and that is boolean. Okay, so if query has run successfully, then it will give you true, otherwise false. So we can check if stmt exec, this is our variable, you can name it anything you want. Okay, if this is true, then we have to redirect the user to the index page back, where we have a list of all the employees. Okay, and for that I'm going to write header, which is one more inbuilt function, and I'll write location, and location is index.php. okay, save. And now the final thing, we have to go to create.php, and up to this array we need to pass this fields array to that method which we have created here, insert. So for that I'll create an object of this class first. Employee is equal to new employee, and employee, its method is insert, and I will pass its fields array. So let's go to our browser and give a try. Hit refresh. Okay, then I'm going to type any name, so I'll Joe Brito, and city New York, and designation will be sales manager. Submit. Okay, let's go to the database and refresh. Okay, we don't have any record, means we have some problem in our code. Go and check. Okay, so query is correct. And let's go to the create. Okay, yeah, okay, so this form should be in small letters, so post like this. And I can see, I think one more problem we have, we need not button, we need a input form which will be type of submit. So instead of button, we'll keep input type submit, name submit. Okay, and class btn primary. Okay, so save and check how it looks. Clear. Okay, cool. So now we can try name Joe Brito, city New York, and designation sales manager. Hit submit. Yes, and you can see now we have our record. And if you go to our database, refresh, and you can see we have one more record, Joe Brito, New York, and sales manager. So we have successfully inserted our data. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you like my video and need more videos, then don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any issue with our code, please comment. So in the next video we will complete our update part. So till next video, take care, bye bye.